The Sovereign District Courthouse stood like a fortress of marble and glass, tucked deep in the heart of the capital, a city that pretended to sleep but never really did. Inside, tension coiled through every corridor. Cameras weren't allowed, but the story that was about to unfold didn't need them. It would echo far beyond any courtroom walls. At the center of it all, a former music tycoon turned alleged predator, Damian Cole, a man once hailed as the kingmaker of the entertainment world. And on the other side, a federal prosecutor with the nerve to take him down, backed by an anonymous whistleblower so powerful, his very name was redacted from every official document. This wasn't just a case, it was a war. And it started with one whispered truth. People of the Sovereign District versus Damian Cole. The judge's voice cut through the courtroom like a gavel made of ice. Damian sat behind the defense table in a crisp navy suit, unbothered, almost smirking, until the prosecutor began reading the charges: sex trafficking, racketeering, obstruction of justice. The prosecution laid out a timeline that spanned 2 decades, a network of manipulation, coercion, and hush money. Celebrities, political operatives, underground connections. All roads led back to Damian Cole's billion-dollar empire. And then came the wild card, a sealed witness, protected under a rare, full federal cloak order. No one had ever seen one used outside of counterintelligence cases. The witness will be referred to as Agent Gray. The room froze. He walked in with a limp and a bullet scar visible just under his collar. Agent Marcus Gray, former intelligence operative, retired with honors, and the man who claimed to have been there when Damian's empire was quietly sanctioned, protected, and exploited by people far above his pay grade. He didn't just name names. He showed footage. He had audio. He submitted 317 classified documents, redacted, but damning nonetheless. The room shook. Gray's testimony wasn't just about Damian. It was about how the system had allowed him to flourish, how federal agents were instructed to stand down on specific operations, how a former president, Elijah Monroe, had allegedly been briefed on the entertainment mogul's activities and chose silence in exchange for strategic leverage during a volatile election year. Gasps filled the room. The judge slammed her gavel. The defense called it a circus. Unfounded, unverifiable, completely fabricated, barked their lead attorney, Evelyn Crane, a legend in her own right. She questioned Gray's mental health, brought up inconsistencies in his prior deployments. She suggested that the documents were forged, AI-generated, but then the prosecution dropped their ace, a memo, top-secret clearance, verified chain of custody. It was signed by Monroe himself. It acknowledged Project Orchid, an off-book surveillance program monitoring public figures for future geopolitical leverage. Damian Cole was one of the flagged assets. The courtroom erupted. The jury was visibly shaken. Several members asked for private recess. 2 asked to be excused. The judge denied them. The case would proceed. Outside, the media frenzy couldn't be contained. Redacted News published an exposé within minutes of the leaked memo. Protests surged across the city. Hashtags flew faster than subpoenas. Inside, Agent Gray was placed under armed protection after a suspicious brake failure on his government-issued vehicle. Whispers of internal sabotage floated through DOJ hallways. And still, the trial pressed on. After 13 days of deliberation, the jury returned. Damian Cole, guilty on all charges. But that was just the beginning. The judge unsealed 78 more pages of previously sealed testimony, names, agencies, timelines. The fallout reached across every branch of power: Hollywood, politics, law enforcement. President Monroe's legal team issued a statement that he would not comment on unverified testimony from classified proceedings. But he didn't deny it. And Agent Gray? He disappeared from public view 3 days later, last seen entering a black SUV with government plates. His whereabouts remain unknown. In the months that followed, arrests were made quietly. CEOS talent agents. One senior senator resigned citing health reasons. Whistleblower laws were revised. The term Project Orchid became a trending search term overnight. But the public never got the full story, only fragments. Because in the Sovereign District Courthouse, justice was served, but only the kind that fit in a file folder. The rest, sealed forever. Some stories don't end with a gavel, they end in silence, protected by layers of power that most of us will never see. But every now and then, someone like Agent Gray steps forward, and when they do, the world shakes, if only for a moment. Remember that next time you hear someone say, "It's just a conspiracy theory," because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's classified,